machine? The time machine?
Hello and good evening. It is I, Crypto Otaku, and this is a sad day. It's a sad day in the world of anime, Japan, innovation, and all the above. Yeah, crypto's up, but we lost a really good person in our lives. All right, let's get this show on the road. Welcome, welcome. Alrighty. Well, if you did not see the Akira Toriyama passed away, I actually found out last night after I got off my stream. One of my good buddies told me about it. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks. When you were talking about one of the biggest influencers ever in anime, just gone. Anime, I mean, written novelization artist. I mean, talk about just an amazing man. I mean, looking forward to his Sandland adaptation. Finally, for it's coming out in the States this year. Me and a few friends were looking at watching it, and yeah, now it's even more special, I guess. Anywho, let's just kind of dive into Bitcoin real quick before we completely go off the rails, because I just don't have it in me today to go over all the fun, exciting crypto news. But I thought we'd tribute this evening to just how Akira Toriyama and what he's done with what he's done in Japan over the years, how he's influenced my life, and hopefully some of you as well who's watching tonight. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. Okay, so Japan is up. We broke through 70,000 this afternoon. It was exciting. Everyone was hyped. You can definitely tell. Everyone was feeling it. It was euphoria, right? Euphoria. And then we came right back down and settled at about 68.3. We may actually break through. It looks like, as long as we can get above 69 again over the weekend, we're gonna be in a crazy spot on Monday morning. Anywho, again, like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on Bitcoin tonight or crypto. I kind of just wanted to jump into Akira Toriyama. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. So, my life, highly influenced by this man, this great man. As I was a kid, I'm absolutely obsessed with the anime. It was the first anime I was ever introduced to as I knew about anime in the space, right? I mean, you grew up with a lot of the reruns. We didn't even realize that was all from Japan. And all the things that created me as an otaku in my personal life. It wasn't until Dragon Ball hit America and was thrown on VHS tapes that I was exposed to it in a big way. And obviously we had the later adaptation of adoption here in the States on Toonami, Cartoon Network, all those things. But before I had a Cartoon Network, before I even knew it was a thing, we were picking up towards the end of the Cell saga. I mean the Frieza saga here in the States. I was completely blown away. One of the first things I ever saw about Dragon Ball included one of my favorite characters of all time, Trunks Brief, the son of Bulma and Vegeta, right? I was absolutely hooked from there on out. I ended up starting to learn Japanese. I got into torrenting. You get back into Bitcoin. Back in the day, you just download everything and on dial-up. It would take forever. I used to clutter my entire desktop with GIFs of all the main characters, Vegeta, Goku, and Gohan, all the Super Saiyans, just doing Kamehamehas all over my parents' desktop at the time, basically just obliterating their RAM, their memory, slowing it down to basically a screeching halt. And around that time period, the PS1 was out, right? In the States, and there was only one Dragon Ball Z game ever created, and it was actually not even Dragon Ball Z at the time. Japan was already into Dragon Ball GT, and this is the game. This is the game that changed my freaking life and made me a video game collector of all things. I went so diehard into Dragon Ball, spending my entire childhood. I got pictures of stuff I drew from the series back from when I was in elementary school, middle school. Some of the first stuff I ever drew, and it's just incredible what this man has, inspired. I don't know if I can show it. There's Frieza there. Has inspired me over the years, and and our country. If it weren't for Dragon Ball, if it weren't for Dragon Ball Z in America, Toonami and the culture surrounding it, we never would have had anime. It would have been so far delayed. There's some of my original comic books I picked up when I was a little kid. Before we had manga in the States, this is what we had. We had Dragon Ball Z comics. You also had Pokemon ones too. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It was a whole different world back then. This is all you had. This is all you could find. Definitely, I'm showing my age today, but yeah, I mean, I even have pictures. I printed this off on my parents' computer. It's so faded, and like, I printed this off when I was in middle school. And I still have it today. It's incredible. I even have look at this. I have a birthday card. I got a birthday card I made on my parents' printer back in the probably like '99. And yeah, I mean, it's got my personal information in there, but it's, oh my god, it's wow. Talk about let's talk about a long time ago. I mean, tripped the world. He absolutely tripped the world here in the States when it came to culture, pop culture in America, everything. It's nuts. But yeah, when this game came out, this was the only game that came out in America at the time. It set me down a spiraling path, became a video game collector. I have over 5,000 video games in my collection now, but back then, this game wasn't possible to find. This is the first time I ever needed to go to a pawn shop to look for something. This game took me on a chaotic spiral of unbelievable proportions. It's now worth like over $100. But at the time, you couldn't even find it. It was nuts. It was an okay game. But again, it was the only game you had in America at the time that was Dragon Ball. And so what I ended up doing as a kid was I couldn't find the damn thing. I ended up importing all of the games from Japan. And this changed my life. Because this game in particular, Dragon Ball Z Legends, I had to learn Japanese in order to get through this game. Enough that I could actually finish it. Of course I did, but I was in 6th grade. It was crazy. It woke me up to all new heights, the human potential. Just in general, having the knowledge and understanding to believe that you could do something as big as import something from the other side of the world back in the late '90s. Learn Japanese, pick up as what you can. I was watching anything I could get that's why I was talking to a friend the other night. I got into Ranma pretty quick after that, just because it was already kind of all over the internet back in the day with dial-up. It was really hard to find a lot of anime that you could download fast, right? So I basically torrented things and found and discovered new things, and Rama was another part of my life I cared for a lot. But anyway, yeah, Dragon Ball. In the States too, eventually we ended up getting, you know, the manga. I have the whole entire freaking, you know, Dragon Ball manga. Incredible. I mean, just the amount of dedication are in. I remember one of the things that Kurita said annoyed him the most when it came to the Cell Saga and Dragon Ball Z was he hated the he loved his character design for Cell, but because Cell's he strung that out so long, he hated drawing all of those spots on Cell. It drove him crazy, like those leopard spots. It just as a kid, I used to love reading the letters to Toriyama at the end that were translated, obviously, for the American market, as best they could. I also fell in love with. Afterwards, I ended up falling in love with Dr. Slump. If you're not familiar with Dr. Slump, Dr. Slump was really awesome. It is this show here about Norimaki and his creation, which is Arale. And he actually brought Arale into the series a few times. You can see her there in Dragon Ball Super. She was also originally debuted in Dragon Ball. It's when Goku first met her. But yeah, just an amazing, man. Everything was involved with was just magical. And you could tell everything that he was, you know, everything that he led up to being part of. You could just see from the artwork right away. That was him. I'm talking about Sandland, right? Boom. That's the animated adaptation of the series. Again, coming to America this month, I think. I was really looking forward to watching this, and the game is coming out alongside of it too, which is incredible. It's sick. But yeah, it's based on the one-off series he did. He just wanted to do a series in the sand. He also had a part in Go-Go Ackman back in the day, which was a series of Super Nintendo or Super Famicom games. I have the series, but yeah, we never got it in the States. You can see obviously the main character is actually a little demon. Actually looks kind of like Trunks. But yeah, let's go Ackman. What else did he do? I mean, he did so much. What about the Dragon Warrior, right? Dragon Quest here in the States, but Dragon Warrior. Everything. He's done all the artwork for this series. All of it. Heavily inspired by him now. Oh man, there's just so much to dive into. You can't really touch the surface of this man in just an evening. but yeah, it's just sad. Just sad. But yeah, I personally believe if it wasn't for Dragon Ball and Pokemon at the time, I think once the big hype of Pokemon died down, Gundam, Dragon Ball, and Pokemon. That's what we grew up with. That was American ideal otaku childhood in the early 90s, or mid to late 90s. It was crazy. And everyone, look at this. Everyone's doing a ton of tributes lately. Here's Capcom. Look at this. Capcom pays homage to Akira Toriyama with beautiful Street Fighter X Dragon Ball Z crossover. God. Oh man, That's crazy. Look at that Sakura. About ready to go after Blanca, wearing a Goku gi. You know, the great Master Roshi's. Because remember, Goku didn't wear these colors until he was trained by Master Roshi with Krillin. Such a long heritage. I mean, imagine there's people getting into Dragon Ball right now. In the last 5-10 years, they haven't even watched the or read the original Dragon Ball. You know, Goku's had a long journey. We're talking about, man, Dragon Ball came out in the 80s. Yeah, 30-40 years of Dragon Ball. Crazy. It's crazy. Oh man. Damn, there were so many video games too. Like, I up until last few years, I had pretty much every single Dragon Ball video game ever created in my possession. There's been so many Dragon Ball Z games and games in space. A lot of them are really hard to come by now these days too. When I kind of dive into the fandom of video games, last Dragon Ball Z video games. Yeah, so many great games. Some of the earliest ones too being the Super Butoden series in Japan. The fighting games, oh my god, in Japan in the early 90s were incredible. I mean, Hyper Fighting was one of my favorites. Was it on the NES? That's the Famicom in Japan. We actually got a few in Japan, in America, that came over to America rebranded. And they don't actually show them here, because you got to be a true otaku to know which ones. But Dragon, not Dragon Fighter, but Dragon. Was it Dragon Fighter? Maybe it was Dragon Fighter. No. What's it? No, it's not Dragon Fighter. What the hell was it? Dragon Spirit, maybe? I think it was Dragon Spirit. No, that was a shmup, I think. But basically, they rebranded it for the States as a karate game. Dragon Power, here it is. This game here. One of the probably the first game I played as a kid, not knowing it was even remotely, you know, not even remotely any idea what the source material was from. And so Dragon Power was actually the first Dragon Ball game they had ever created on the Famicom. And there's just so much to go back to in my childhood and my life. Oh man. Yep, this game here. So, Dragon Ball on the Famicom. It's actually our Dragon Power in the States. And I'm just gonna be on a drunken rant tonight. I'm just so beaten down by life right now. But yeah, that was our game here. This is what we got. And they even changed his he cut his tail off, so he didn't have a tail. Which is kind of funny. It's what the game looked like. And yeah, that was the first NES game I played that was Dragon Ball. Didn't even know it was Dragon Ball at the time because of the damn censorship in America, and not even localization. The localization in America. Yep. You can see here's Master Roshi in the game. No, just some old man. No crazy old pervert here. Just an old man. Oh man. Yeah. And then obviously all the stuff we got later in America was pretty solid. There were some games back in the day I remember being kind of a disappointment, like there was a Game Boy Advance game, or I don't want to talk about disappointments. But Hyperdimension. Hyperdimension was the coolest. It was the best Super Famicom game, in my opinion. The gameplay was awesome. The graphics were solid. I mean, it was my favorite of all the Super Famicom games I imported when I was a kid. Yeah, because once we got into Dragon Ball Z as kids, we just kind of fell in love. I was obsessed. Especially when you start in the Frieza saga and you're like, what in the hell happened? Where did all this come from? I go back and watch all the Dragon Ball on dial-up. I mean, I couldn't tell you, it was years. I'd leave my computer on home, go to school. Thank God my parents were working because I always left the internet on, and back then you couldn't use your phone and your internet at the same time, so it was a constant struggle between who had the phone, who had the internet, downloading stuff back and forth. Different times, different days. Yeah, I mean, it's just nuts, absolutely crazy. Some of my other favorite video games too. So after the Super Famicom, the Japanese Super Nintendo, we finally started getting. We didn't get anything on the 64 for Dragon Ball, but we did end up getting a whole bunch of stuff on the PlayStation. That's the era that I started playing games. I showed you a bunch of those earlier. These babies. Yeah, then Budokai series came out, amazing. Originally it was on the PlayStation 2, and then got ported to the GameCube. Phenomenal game series. Went through the entire Saiyan saga leading up to the Cell saga at the time, and then Budokai 2, which went from the Majin until the end of the series. Yeah, it was incredible. Budokai 3. It's a pretty hard to find game now. I don't think I'm Tenkaichi. Tenkaichi is. And then Tenkaichi 2 was amazing. When that came out on the Wii, they made a port of that on the Wii. And when that game came out, I think it was the first game that had like literally over 100 characters. It was stupid. And then obviously some of my favorite characters are in there too. Like Arale was in there as a playable character for the first time. I rallied behind that strong. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, she was the first android Norimaki made in his lifetime. I want to see if I can find a picture of her in the game. There's someone cosplaying her. That's cute. Yeah, that was her in the game. That was the first representation we ever had in a video game of Arale stateside that I'm aware of. Unless Shonen Jump Superstars came out before that, which I don't think it did, because that was on the DS. This was around the same time period, when we were starting to relive some of the Dragon Ball best Dragon Ball moments on the DS. The Nintendo DS. That was pretty cool. We had Dragon Ball Origins and Origins 2. Those are on the DS. Man, those are probably up there now. You probably can't even find those games anymore. I remember when they came out. I bet no one in America remembers those. This was really cool too. We got Attack of the Saiyans. That was the first like old school Dragon Ball RPG we ever got. We never got any of the stuff and the Super Nintendo. Oh well, actually no, I take that back. The first real like old school. Well, it was made by an American company. I think it was made by Atari. Legacy of Goku series. That was amazing at the time. A lot of people love that game series. Yep. Oh man, they had a dedicated Raleigh game. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I gotta go back and find that. But yeah, she was in all Jump Superstars as well as Goku. That game right there, man, that further pushed my envelope as an otaku. When this game came out, I was in high school, and I had all the best shonen series in one video game. It was a Smash Bros themed game. Yeah, I love this game. There were 2 versions of it. It never came out in America. I did actually see it at a Best Buy one time here in America, and I was just like confused, like what the hell? But yeah, when Shonen Jump started to get that big partnership with Bandai Namco, was when they first merged. Now it's Bandai Namco. Tecmo, is it Toei? I forget. There's a whole, basically Bandai's like been buying up and merging together with all these Japanese companies. Let's now pull up some pictures of this. Oh, this game was incredible. Yeah, this was the Smash Bros on the DS. What it looked like, there's Goku there fighting. Looks like I can't tell. Here's another picture there. You can see Yugi there. Yugi fighting Zoro. And man, these pictures are blurry. Blurry to all hell. God damn you, Brave! Damn it, Brave. Eventually this series came out later in a 3D iteration on PS3, I think. But it wasn't as good in my opinion. I forget what they called it. We'll get to that point in the Dragon Ball games. Man. Oh yeah, there it is. Is that it? Yeah, Jump Ultimate Stars. Yeah, there's like Rurouni Kenshin. Oh, I just love this game so much. They even had characters from Death Note in it. Everything that was like popping off at the time. Even had Muscle Man and Ultimate Muscle and Naruto and One Piece and man, those were the days, man. Back when anime was still good in my opinion, still in its silver age. Now we're kind of in the bronze age of anime. It's not as good. Everything's kind of already been done. But yeah, the golden age of anime, Dragon Ball Z. You couldn't beat it. There was so much great stuff at the time. Yeah, Trigun. There's just a follow-up series now. Full Metal came out towards the end of that reign of anime. Oh boy, good times. So yeah, just kind of going down the list of Dragon Ball games. It's so cool that they have Dr. Slump under there as a Dragon Ball game. They might have had a tie-in with Kid Goku when when Arale ran into him or something in that game series. Game Boy Advance. This game's hard to find now. Dragon Ball Adventure. Don't get me started on video game prices. I'm talking about the price of Bitcoin and crypto. When it came to true scarcity, that's how I learned scarcity, was through video game collecting. That's how I got involved in understood markets like crypto. But yeah, they had the collectible card game. It was okay. I played a little bit with this as a kid, alongside Pokemon cards. Magic came out around that time period. Yu-Gi-Oh cards, that sort of thing. But I was more into Pokemon cards than anything else. You had to basically pick your one, because I mean, on on a $7 allowance as a kid. You got $1 a day. That's what my parents did for me. You were saving your lunch money and not telling your parents too. That's what I would do. I would literally starve myself, or take friends' free lunches and stuff like that. If they didn't want it, they brought lunches and they had one. Man, it brings back a lot of memories growing up with Dragon Ball. I remember getting the fights on the playground. Because you'd bring your Game Boy to school, and you weren't supposed to bring your Game Boys to school. And I had, oh man, that was one of the first Game Boy color games actually. Yeah, was the card game. Yeah, I remember a kid stole that in the playground along with my Pokemon Silver, and I got into a fight with him. His name was James. I'm not gonna say his last name, but everyone made fun of him because he shared a common last name or with a particular serial killer. So that little bastard, he stole my Pokemon Silver and my Dragon Ball Z TCG game, and I ended up having to what'd I do? I threw invisible ink on them. Remember at Spencer's back in the day, or like those little dollar store, you can get like a invisible ink or like little cheap magic tricks. I threw some on them, and he got all mad. He's like, "Oh, my clothes are all full." Yeah, I wonder if that's still like actually stained. You can probably still see that under a UV. But anyway, yep. And then later, yeah, playing some of these games. Supersonic Warriors was amazing. That was basically like the spiritual successor to Dragon Ball Legends on the Dragon Ball Z Legends on the PS1. This game was awesome. You could like you could control 3 characters at once on the screen, and it was a fighting game. And they were and then the characters you weren't controlling were also controlled by AI. And so your NPCs would just kind of start fighting in the background, and it really paid homage to those large-scale battles in Dragon Ball Z, which, you know, you could, you never really seen anything before that, because all the other fighting games are all one-on-one, right? You just in a space, like Super Butoden. Let me see if I can pull some video game footage up. Why not? Let's go into it. So yeah, that's Butoden. That's the first one too. They're pretty primitive games compared to games like today, but for me, like when I imported the Super Nintendo games, you know, the Super Famicom Dragon Ball games, they were incredible. No one else had them, and all you had to do was just plop them in your Super Nintendo, because they worked. They just we had little keys. I remember taking a pair of pliers. I'm like, this won't fit, and I took a pair of my dad's pliers and I broke the tabs inside my Super Nintendo in order to get these to play. Yeah. I was something special. tearing apart stuff like that when I was a kid. I remember destroying a whole bunch of my dad's screwdrivers, just trying to like cram them into a star bit and just keep turning them until either the screw was stripped out, and then tearing pliers, and oh dude, I was tearing it all up. Friday night, just honoring the great Akira Toriyama, a god among men, and of course the great creator of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Super and everything else that we cherish today. If you're just tuning in, please like, subscribe, do all the things. Need the algos and all the support. I appreciate it. I'm gonna throw my YouTube algorithm off tonight with all this very dedicated anime stuff. So yeah, Butoden 3 was definitely the most improvement in the series. Let me see if I can find a quick little thing of that. Shout out to whoever's playing this game. Bigger John! Not the smaller John, but the bigger John's playing this one. Yeah, this one was awesome. And they just got a little better and better by then. But Hyperdimension was my favorite, as I said earlier.
You don't even know how to spell girlfriend.
If you're looking for a good oldie but goodie.
Right,
Still, the prices aren't, I think they've come down.
Got the title of
But now that he passed, I'm sure everything's going to explode. Who knows? Probably have a crazy period. Usually in the video game industry, the resale, right? I'm a huge video game collector.
How I forget the buttons that quick? I don't know.
I have over 5,000 video games, and I'm sure, and I have pretty much every Dragon Ball game ever made up until about 2020.
Go on, come on, what's up?
Yeah, they're probably gonna shoot up in price because
the crotch.
The series over the years has.
Go on, please.
Again, and that's what kind of destroyed importing in Japan too. So around the time period of like 2012 to now, COVID probably was like the last hurrah that basically exhausted all imports out of Japan. You used to be able to buy, like, I shit you not, boxes this big and then from the floor this high for like $100. Hundreds of cartridges for like less than $100 even sometimes in some cases on these eBay auctions. These eBay auctions were going for crazy back in the early 2000s. And you couldn't because, okay, so a little bit of background into the culture of Japan. Famicom, Game Boy, Super Famicom, especially disc-based games out of Japan, were basically worthless up until about the mid 2000s, like 2010. 2000, yeah, I would say like 2008 to 2010. Everything shot up because everything was being exhausted out of Japan. Just a little bit of a background on that. As a video game enthusiast, and I've been importing games since I was I don't know, 11 years old. Yeah, the market has been completely exhausted out of Japan. What happened was there was a you can see here a little lot like this back in the mid 2000s. You would have cost you like maybe, without the Famicom, that's a Famiclone. But yeah, without that, just the games right there would have probably cost you like $20. Now you want this amount of Famicom games, you're probably going to pay like $200. And the reason why is because resellers, right? Japan, the culture in Japan is basically out with the old, in with the new. They're very, they're the most, what's the best way to describe it? They're the best, they're the most innovative, technological, economy, right? So they're constantly innovating in Japan. They're constantly creating brand new things. So every time there's a huge movement in Japan, and they go from one hardware generation to another, and because they also don't have that much room in Japan, the average Japanese room, like we have 10 by 10s or 12 by 12s here in America, the average room in Japan is like maybe 9 by 9, in some Tokyo apartments, even smaller. They're working with even less, just enough room to put a bed in and surround your walls with basically shelves, because they're just crammed. And because of that, as well as their constant adopting new technology, Japanese culture isn't as sentimental, right? And there's some few, and again, that's where we got otakus, right? There's some few over fanatical otakus in Japan that were enthusiasts and would collect this stuff, but nowhere near what we saw here in the States. And when a lot of these games started getting overhyped on YouTube, that's kind of when video games in general just started kind of like exploding. People picking up you know, tons and tons of used games, especially since a lot of the if you didn't require any knowledge of Japanese, you know, being able to read hiragana, katakana, or kanji, you can get through an entire game without it. All those games basically skyrocketed, especially if they were only released in Japan. So if they were exclusive to Japan, they easily became like $100 games overnight once they were thrown up on YouTube. And yeah, that's kind of been the culture out of Japan. Anywho, I'm not sure why I even went on that rant. But yeah, just kind of going down the list of all the great Dragon Ball related games, video games. There's been so many. Oh my god, so many. PSP too. Oh my god. We didn't get into the other handhelds. There were so many great games on the 3DS. Fusions was cool. I really liked Another Road. That was like the first big, you know, portable Dragon Ball 3D Dragon Ball game you could play in the palm of your hand. Shin Budokai Another Road was a phenomenal successor to it. And then God, we don't talk about this. We do not talk about that. Oh, Dragon Ball Evolution. When that came out, I about died. I still have never seen the movie. You don't need to. Let's not talk about that. We're honoring Akira Toriyama, not dishonoring him with Dragon Ball Evolution. Yeah, Battle with Z was cool. I was on the Vita. That only came out in Japan physically. I have a Japanese, American copy downloaded here in America. There's J-Stars Versus. That was the game I was talking about, where they adopted the game into a 3D version. Not as many characters, but still fun. And then the Wonder Swan. Yes, Dragon Ball was on the Wonder Swan. I forgot about that. If you're not familiar with the Wonder Swan, that was actually made by Gunpei Yokoi. Out of Japan. He was the creator of the Game Boy, and he actually left Nintendo and created the Wonder Swan, which is a little fun handheld. Ton of anime games on there. Oh my god, ton of anime games. One Piece, I think Naruto even was on the Wonder Swan. Here's a little Wonder Swan there. I actually have one behind me. I'm like, here. But yeah, I got the have a Wonder Swan. I actually have a in the box Wonder Swan right here. Which yeah, you can see the outline of the console. This is a Gundam themed one. Obviously, I'm in the Gundam themed office. But yeah, that's the Wonder Swan. It was pretty popular in Japan. It didn't pick up enough steam to get launched here in America. It was around the same time we had the Neo Geo Pocket as well. But yeah, there's some really cool games on there. There's a Guilty Gear series. It was on the Wonder Swan. It's really awesome. There's Gundam, obviously Gundam. Yeah, I'm not gonna do a deep dive into Wonder Swan. There's no need. But yeah, Bandai has been, again, the partnerships out of Japan are incredible. I mean, things that we never saw over here. The partnerships with 7-Eleven. All I hear about all the time is yeah, I wish we had that kind of stuff here in the States. Yeah, so let's play TV. There was one of these, was actually one of the first games I ever had. But it wasn't any of the Japanese. It was actually, was it this? Yeah, it was that game, but it was released in a I'm probably never gonna find it. But back when I was searching so hard for that Dragon Ball GT game, back in middle school, there was like a kind of like a handheld 2-player. It was probably made by Tiger Electronics. I remember having it when I was a kid. Oh, that's cool. Not that. Man, it was like it had like a little Namek stand, and then it had these controllers attached to it, and then you'd let's see if I can find it on eBay. Going down memory lane tonight. Going down memory lane tonight. Oh, it's probably not made by Tiger. Looking for random stuff here on eBay tonight on a crypto channel. Oh man, what the hell? It's something kind of like that, but different. Probably not gonna find it. I'll have to do it on my own time. But basically, yeah, a lot of memories. Oh my god. Fun. Man, I remember that sword too. Holy crap. Oh man. Yep, not gonna find it, but I will look for it later. But yeah, we were basically talking about how Japan exhausted all of their games out of Japan through exporting and importing into America. And Akiba Strip, the legendary Akihabara, has basically been a wasteland. There's only a few games now that actually sell used video games from that era. Akihabara. This is actually one of the highlight destinations after I make it big in crypto. But yeah, Super Potato. Let's just get into Super Potato. The only big one I know that's still around that has a large accumulation, but the prices have skyrocketed. And everyone I hear going over there tells me that it's terrifying. Yeah, 980 yen for Chrono Trigger is not that bad. When was that though? When was this art? 2021. Yeah. But that's the difference though. This is the difference I was talking about, the premium compared to America when it comes to games. And just again, going back to the Japanese culture, they don't have that much room, and we do not have that much sentimental value of older things in Japan. Not everyone, but most. What was I? Oh yeah, what is it? 980 yen. The 980 yen is about $6 or $7 American. Chrono Trigger right now in the American copy, English original, not repro. It's probably going for like 120, maybe 100, maybe more. Who knows? But that's the difference you pay, because we are sentimental bastards here in America. That's why we're hodling like crazy here too, Bitcoin. Yeah, crazy. But it's cool to see that Capcom's paying homage to the late Akira Toriyama. Anything else happening tonight in his name? Oh man, we could read an article just to kind of pay pay tribute as well. CNN's covering it. Oh God. The last thing I want to do is read a CNN article. Here's Kotaku. Goro Toriyama's passing is motivating me to finally play his games. We were just talking about games. Chrono Trigger. Talking about these things. Man, can you imagine how much Chrono Trigger is going to explode here in the next few days, weeks, months? Anything tied to his likeness in the anime portrayals he has done to all the artwork for tons of games. Oh, I'm curious. I'm gonna do it. I didn't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. How much is Chrono Trigger going for right now? There you go. There you go. Not a near mint copy, but close. About $270. Buy it now. Best offer. Crazy, right? You want a box copy, complete in box, not even sealed. 1,000 US. 1,200 US. You want a Japanese copy? 38, 40 bucks. Again, the American premium, and scarcity, right? We're talking about Bitcoin, right? Talk about Bitcoin. Korea Toriyama would want us to buy Bitcoin? That's what Mondo says. Huh. What do you want us to buy Bitcoin? That's a good question. That is a very, very good question. I don't know. I think a lot of people still haven't woken up to Bitcoin yet. He may have not really paid attention to it. I hope he had some stake in it. Well, let's look it up. Let's see. Did Korea Toriyama ever endorse Bitcoin? I'd say, just judging by how high on a pedestal he was, even if he did, a lot of people in those positions do not say or come out because they do hold a lot of talking power and press, right? And so if they were to say something, this is why I don't think you're going to find anything comes to Bitcoin at Korea Toriyama. I was actually talking to Tiffany Grant, the voice actor of Asuka, the other night. I'm gonna go into that in another show at some point, probably. But I was asking her if she was into Bitcoin. She says she's not something that she's interested at this moment. And she put winky face, and I'm like, might be something there, but she can't say because she's tied to all these projects, right? And once you come out, and this is why a lot of people. A lot of companies never came out and said that they had it on their balance sheet because they'd be kind of had their feet into the fire if they did. So, but yeah, let's just dive and take a look. That's the reason why most people don't come out, especially if they're holding anything near press. But it is interesting though that he passed in the moment that Bitcoin broke out. Oh, it's a shame. Look at this YouTube video. I keep losing money on crypto, and rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. That's why you don't trade. Just hodl, my man. My Paula's on. You got hodl, bro. It's over 69,000. Oh yeah. Why didn't I think of that? I might have to change my it don't matter. But yeah, if you're not familiar with that legendary meme, of course you have to. Everyone, even people that haven't seen Dragon Ball know about the "it's over 9,000." What? 9,000? Nappa, Vegeta. What does the scouter say about his power level? You know what? I'm gonna definitely put that into fruition. I have the entire series of Dragon Ball on my hard drive. Tonight I'll probably work on that. I've been working on actually I'll pull it up real quick. It's not Dragon Ball related, but I'm working on this one for my stream. Just a fun little homage to Bebop. I have nothing but Gundam in my intro right now, or my waiting room. So I want to do some more anime. And one I was playing around with Bebop. So this is kind of one I'm building right now. Haven't got that far with. But thought I'd tease it on here. Why not? Since we're all just kind of tonight's just a BS night. It's just a BS night. I don't care. But yeah, this I kind of moved. Dang it. Still working on that. And then she's gonna catch it in her mouth. Man, it moved. Gotta delete all these gaps again. But yeah, I'll probably do a over 69,000. Otaku segments, yes, that's what I'm doing. Working on the channel every day, every way. So yeah, the only thing that you're finding related to Bitcoin is passing during the pump. So don't want to sully his name with Bitcoin. But yeah, he man, just it's tough, man. It's tough getting old, watching your heroes pass. So Akira Toriyama, aside from him, other influencers in the space in my life, there were pretty much three big ones: Akira Toriyama, Shigeru Miyamoto, and I would say Hideo Kojima. Those three big ones out of Japan, and the only one that I can say influenced my life in America in a big way was probably George Lucas. But that's pop culture in America. Yeah, those three big ones out of Japan. There's a ton of others developers too, like Inafune, or what's his name? I just can't. Hideki Evangelion. Yep. Evangelion creator. There's so many. But yeah, too many. But yeah, Keiji Inafune, you know, the Mega Man creator. Hideo Kojima. It's not their night. This is Toriyama's night. Toriyama. All right, let's find an article. Let's find an article to read. I'm running out of steam. Night. The joyful and mechanical design of Akira Toriyama. Yeah, I mean, think about all those capsules, man, that Bulma had. All those cool capsules and creations. Cool ideas. Some of them actually became reality. We could dive into that too. The capsule. Core capsules. Bulma's namesake. There should be a list of different capsules in the series. Capsule D, Capsule A. Numerous objects. Oh man, yeah. Here's Capsule 1, the Capsule House, the Bulma and Goku stayed in. That was cool. Near Scald Alley, near the Kami House is one. They use them on Planet Namek as well. The electric rice cooker. I don't know why they show the Harale hat in the second capsule. Yeah, there's just so many. Oh my god, so many memories. The time machine, of course. Trunks' time machine was in a capsule. Yeah, I mean, there was just so many amazing designs. All you have to do is look back to some of the covers. The cover art he did on the titles as well. I'm taking some of my favorites. Again, I have some of the manga here. There's a car. Look at that art with Krillin in the driver's seat. There's a motorcycle. There's a car, like a Jeep. He did a vehicle in almost every single one of his cover arts. The mechas were really cool, especially back in the blue. There's another motorcycle in the blue saga and the red ribbon saga. There was a lot of mechas. They were fighting. Oh, I think that was like around 7. Just tell me, yeah. Here's a blue and a flying. He's in a flying machine of sorts. Kind of looks like the sand pods later on, a little bit with wings. Yeah, just so many memories. So many memories. And he had so much lewd humor too. I mean, Master Roshi wasn't enough, right? Wasn't enough. That Bulma basically had to flash herself every time she wanted to get something done to move the story along. I remember one time, I think it was Krillin actually, pulled her blouse down in order to defeat the Invisible Man, so that Master Roshi, I think, was fighting Invisible Man. No, he wasn't. Who the hell was fighting the Invisible Man? Someone was, and then they had to get a nosebleed to see him, get him covered in blood. I think Krillin was fighting him. Yeah, so many good memories. So many. Bam. Oh boy, what a night, what an evening. Well, thank you for whoever joined, and I'm probably gonna call it a night. Please like and subscribe, do all the things. Big things are coming in crypto, right? Getting back to the task at hand. Bitcoin's gonna probably have an interesting weekend. I don't think everyone's going to want to let this go. Bitcoin's kind of gonna be all over the news now that we broke 70K today. In every country, we're already in new all-time highs around the whole world. Cheers to that. It was an interesting afternoon when that pumped. Salute. And as always, don't let your dreams be dreams. Buy Bitcoin. And this is Otaku signing off. Have a good one. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. You're a huge part of my life. Good night.